many times I heard, last night I got a fast food meal just because I had nothing prepared at home, but I was too hungry and tired to cook. Well, it happens to everyone from time to time, and it definitely happened to me before. But now I go for McDonald's or pizza or sushi when I really want it, not because I'm too hungry and tired to cook dinner. And I want to go in detail in this video on what strategy I personally use and recommend to my clients to make it happen. Okay, so if cooking last minute is not an option, then we need to have meals ready. And more precisely, we need nourishing homemade meals in our fridge or freezer ready to be warmed up. I also appreciate an occasional piquant meal, but in this video we'll focus on homemade. Okay, so our solution is cooking ahead, and the two most popular options are batch cooking and meal prep. Let's compare them because both terms can be quite confusing and sometimes interchangeable. Alright, batch cooking usually means cooking meals in advance and storing them in ready-to-go containers. Typical batch cooking containers and meals look like this. It can also be chia puddings or salad jars. The idea is to have it all ready to go. All you need is to warm up your container, or not even. Now let's go through advantages and disadvantages of this method. So advantages are ready to eat and no need to wash extra dishes even, and of course save time and money. Disadvantages to me are lack of variety, because you have to eat the same thing over and over. And because meals are already pre-portioned in containers, you won't necessarily eat according to your hunger and fullness cues, nor to your taste hunger. If you haven't watched my video about hunger and fullness, you should definitely check it out, because here I go in much more detail on different types of hunger. Now let's talk about meal prep. Well, meal prep is more complex and has different definitions. One of them is prepping ingredients in advance or certain recipes to be able to whip up your meal last minute. And the other definition is basically very similar to batch cooking, but the main difference is keeping each dish in separate food container instead of portioning ahead. This gives a variety of ready-to-go mix and match meals. This meal prep type is usually called buffet style, and we'll talk about this one. So advantages are ready to eat, serve what you want, how much you want. So I'd say it's very flexible, which I particularly love because it's compatible with intuitive eating. And of course, it allows us to save time, money, cut down on food waste, etc. Disadvantages are, well, there are not many really, but it definitely requires a high level of organizational skills, including planning and multitasking in the kitchen. Another downside can be spending a lot of time at once. You'll definitely end up saving it, but since it's a lot of cooking at once, 2 hours is bare minimum, and usually it's more like 3 to 4 to be sure. And for me, 3 to 4 hours is meal prepping for the whole week. Since I'm an intuitive eating advocate and an intuitive eater myself, of course I choose buffet style meal prep. Personally, we do it every weekend with my husband, except for when we travel. Saturday we do grocery shopping, and Sunday is cooking time. It's something we've been doing for about 3 years now, so I've become a pro. It even pushed me to create my own meal prep course with an amazing meal planner tool designed by my husband that helps with such needed organization. Alright, so let's come back to our video. Here are a few more details on how we make it work. We cook for a whole week ahead. Usually it's 6 lunches and 6 dinners, since there are 2 meals on average where we don't eat at home or we'd like to order. So we plan for 12 meals per person, 24 in total. If you have a canteen at work or willing to cook only for 3-4 days, it's important to count accordingly. And since it's a lot of food, we usually freeze around a third to make sure we still have fresh meals even 4 days after cooking. Because 4 days is an average period of time when meals can be stored safely in the fridge. It can be more, but it depends on multiple factors, and it's better be safe than sorry. So yes, freezer plays a very important role in this case, and even a small one can be super useful. I know some people are skeptical about freezing meals, but it doesn't really change the nutritional value. The only thing it might change is texture. That's why it's important to understand which meals are suitable for freezing and which ones could end up not very attractive. I'm a dietitian, so for me it's very important to have nourishing meals that taste great. So let's go through key points you should take into account to make your meal prep successful. Number one is balance. I love the image of a balanced plate because it's a great reminder of what essential food groups should be there. So of course it's vegetables, starch and protein. I won't spend too much time on this one because I'll make a separate video about it. But the plate doesn't mean that you have to be super strict about eating protein, starch and vegetables at every single meal. You can definitely adapt according to your physical and taste hunger, but this way you make sure you're eating in a balanced way over the course of a week. And that's what real balance actually is. There are other ways to make sure your meals are balanced, for example, in terms of macronutrient content like carbs, protein, fiber, fat, but I personally prefer food groups because they're easier to understand and we focus on whole foods, not macros. Number two, variety. Meal prep for a whole week ahead, also because we consume mostly homemade meals. Let me explain. For example, if you have lunches in an office canteen, your lunches will be different. So maybe you won't need as much variety as we do. Okay, so for each food group, I always try to have at least 3 different recipes, but 4 is even better. Some recipes will overlap and contain multiple food groups, which is even easier. Variety is important not only to not get bored of eating the same thing over and over, but also because our bodies need different micronutrients like vitamins and minerals found in different foods. Also, our guts strive with a variety of fiber-rich foods. For me, another important point is using seasonal foods, especially vegetables and fruit. Seasonal and local produce will always contain maximum nutrients and honestly it will taste better because it's picked at its ripeness. Of course, it's normal to buy bananas that come from Africa, but in winter I would not buy eggplants or strawberries because they grow in France, but in different seasons. So if I want something not seasonal, I go for a frozen option instead. Although I understand that not everybody puts such importance to this one. Next is reducing food waste. Meal prep is perfect for that because with the right planning, nothing goes to waste and you can always freeze your leftovers. To go even further, since you cook many things at once, it becomes much easier to reuse the same ingredients, and then there is even a possibility to use peels, especially from organic produce, to make soup or a stock afterwards. But of course, organization is key, and in the next meal prep video, I'll take you through the stages you need to succeed your meal prep. And if you would like to take your meal prep skills to another level, I've created a meal prep course exactly for this. I'll leave the link in the description below. And let me know in the comments if you meal prep and what are your challenges. I can make my videos even better. This was Vera, not French dietitian. Thank you for watching, but don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you next week. See you! Mia, what are you gonna tell us today? What are we gonna talk about? Intuitive eating? No? Meal prep? French eating habits?